My name's Debra Grant. I'm from San Diego, California. I was harmed in San Jose, California when I was living up there. I had worked at a junior college and met someone who was a math professor there. We married and then had 3 kids, 3 children, 1 daughter and 2 sons. And I was his 3rd wife, and I understand he's married a 4th time or divorcing a 4th time, I don't know. But in any event, he sort of disappeared out of the scene after we got divorced. He made himself a deal with a protection racket for pedophile dads in Santa Clara County Family Court here in California that caused us a lot of harm. The children and me. They basically pressure the mothers to capitulate to not saying anything about a pedophile ring up there, and they tell you that pedophilia has been around a long time and all of these things, excuses, but you just have to do what's right, and the right thing is to say no. It's not okay to do that to a child. It's not okay for organized networks of people to do that to children. Anyway, so I was teaching elementary school, but I came home from work early one day and about an hour early, and walked into our house and didn't expect anything unusual. I don't think my ex-husband was expecting me home early. Walked in on, didn't see anybody, walked into the bathroom and found him molesting our daughter in the tub. He had my daughter's 5-year-old hand on his penis, his erect penis. And he saw me, jumped out of the tub, ran past me, and later told me that if I divorced him, I'd be putting a gun to my head. I divorced him anyway. I didn't realize he had a problem. I don't know if that was why he got divorced previously a couple of times. I don't know. But in any case, he basically disappeared out of our lives, or my life at that point. Didn't ever want to work anything out. I tried to do something where we would both be in the children's lives, but he cut himself a deal with the family court attorneys up there for pedophile dads, and they completely seek to decimate the injured. Well, they'll decimate mothers and children if they have a paying pedophile dad who has the money to buy himself protection through the system. I did not understand that the system is able to operate extra constitutionally as a protection racket system that aids criminals or criminal behavior. I didn't understand that. I was expecting to find a constitutional system in place that would be, and the rule of law, where we would get protection, and that's not what happened. So a group of people up there, including law enforcement, some judges and attorneys, attorneys Brad Baugh, Valerie Houghton, Michael Schwerin, Richard Roja, Ann DeMaria Cohn, a network of attorneys that appears over and over in cases where where pedophilia is an issue. I know because I researched cases over the course of the summer and contacted people and saw the same names of the same attorneys on different cases in different capacities, whether as special masters or attorneys for minors or attorneys for the father or whatever it was. And you would simply see the roles were different, but the same outcome was that children ended up with perpetrators. Nothing I did there could get the people in the who hold judgeships to enforce the law. They refused to, and basically they told me outside the court that I had to go along with what they wanted, and actually law enforcement came and said, you need to pay these people. I paid into the network of people as best I could through the attorneys, which hiring my attorney, but he ended up working for my ex-husband, and in the end he said, after he took all my money, he said, your life is over, and told me how much he could hire somebody to, like a hitman for, and scared the heck out of me, and that was, and I was left decimated. And then subsequent to that, in my workplace where I was teaching, someone broke the classroom window, and I got harassment there. Ended up, basically what happens is if you leave an abusive relationship or one where you discovered that that there's a sex perp who has maybe prior experience, like my ex-husband had 2 divorces already under his belt. He knew how the system operated and I didn't. I was at a disadvantage. Plus in a protection racket system, whoever has the most money is going to prevail. A lot of times women don't make as much money, and that's a disadvantage. I couldn't buy protection for my kids. I didn't even know you had to. I didn't even know the arena I was dealing in. So in any event, a group of perpetrators then came into my life, and I suffered attempted murder. Some of them were law enforcers who told me that basically that they were part of a criminal organization is what they said. And even my diamond wedding ring was stolen from my purse right inside the family courthouse entranceway by a group of sheriffs. And they basically flaunted that they were able to do whatever they wanted to do. And they made sure I knew who was doing it. And basically they said, we are the court. We are the government in the area. And I said, well, where's the constitutional part of it? And I was talking to a sheriff, and he turned off a tape recorder I had, and he said, we do things differently here. So it left me at a disadvantage because I didn't understand, I didn't understand that they could do things that differently there. I didn't understand they were allowed to plunder, that you would be in the family court, they'd be burglarizing your home, and that sort of thing. So they left me with nothing and said, now what are you going to do? Is anybody going to help you? Literally plundered me of my assets through defrauding us in the family court system, and then literally through theft and burglaries, took any valuable property I had and said, so what are you going to do now? And is anyone going to help you? So I came back down to San Diego because my parents were living here, and this is where I grew up, and left with nothing. Basically, they marginalize people that they have victimized, the network of criminals up there, and then they leave you with no redress. And if you go anywhere in the local law enforcement, they say, well, you have to go back and work it out with the people up there. Well, that's sending the victims back to the people that actually did the injuries. There's no justice in that. There's no hope for justice in that. So it leaves you without any means to redress, and you end up just outside trying to survive, and they keep you from working, and if you do work, they have an illegal or unconstitutional court order that takes your money, and then they'll have people come and say, well, how are you doing now? As you can't get a job and work and get the money, they'll send it to the people that tried to murder you up there instead of you getting it. And then you're outside, you have to sit there and beg for money with a sign, or, I don't know how else anybody else is managing, and I've been petitioning for redress because I figured that's the only way to get out of the situation, because I'm not going to capitulate to saying that it was okay for them to kidnap my children and destroy their childhoods as they did. And I wanted to say, when I was up in San Jose, in Barnes & Noble bookstore, for example, this is one way the perps operated, was some men would come in, and I'd be reading in someplace. They'd wait till I was kind of secluded, alone, and maybe a gentleman would come and sit next to me and say, well, how do you feel about the fact that we're causing your daughter to be sexually molested? As her mother, does that make you upset? Does it make you angry? How does that make you feel? And I used to cry when they did that, and then I stopped crying because I decided that they're liking that you cry. They enjoy hurting people. So, I got sort of inured to the fact that this is what they do. They do shocking things to try to upset you over and over and over again. And they systematically seek to injure you, and they do the same to the kids. So I don't know what one could do about it except keep petitioning for redress through government, but I've gone through all the channels I can, city, county, state, and federal, and even the military side of things. And I haven't been able to get anyone to redress our situation, but I hope they will. Maybe this will help. I'd like to see others spared, and their families too. It's a horrendous ordeal.